her knowledge of the gang involvement and Foolio, and then the beef between the gangs is relevant to the case. But my biggest issue with these are just really long, run-on, nonsensical there's parts of it in here, for example, where there's talk about Foolio specifically. Again, the second page of this exhibit.
Your Honor, I'd be happy to work with the exhibit and highlight more relevant portions, provide an updated copy of that to the defense. My only concern is the defense wanting the evidence surrounding those statements, but in the event that a more redacted version where it's just specifically talking about the parties related to this case and the individuals that were actually present with the decedent, I am happy to do that.
And Your Honor, if I can add, well, first, if the court is going to ultimately allow them in, I would like the opportunity to parse through, what we would.
Sure.
But so, also, Your Honor, based on the information that they introduced yesterday, the state has already established that she is knowledge. And it goes back to my point. What is the actual purpose of this outside of attempting to paint?
Guys, my name is Kiante Ariel, and I am reporting on the Florida versus Alicia Andrews in the Julio murder trial. Alicia Andrews has 2 charges: conspiracy to commit and first-degree murder, and the max penalty is life without parole. Definitely want to make sure you follow me on all platforms because my reporting is a little different because I'm actually going to court downtown Tampa. Now today I didn't, and next week I'm not going all next week. But today let's get into my recap after what I saw on Law and Crime. So her appearance today, her energy seems a little bit better. When she's going like this and stuff, y'all, it's a possibility that she's fucking freezing. And if she's looking tired, hold on. Okay, Dad, so I'm doing my recap for day 3, and a lot of people on my day 2 recap, they're saying how Alicia Andrews, she looks tired, bored, sleepy. Can you please explain to our supporters why it's a possibility why she's looking tired? Because you've been in that situation where you had to get transported. So what's the situation with that?
Well, for one, I believe she's looking like that because she is tired. Being in the county jail for all that time, they're waking her up around about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. She's getting on a bus from maybe Orion Road Jail. She's probably riding the bus maybe 4:35 in the morning. She's on a bus, so she's not getting any good rest. I don't think so. And then you got to think about how stressed out she may be. She's in the cell most likely by herself, or they may snuck somebody in the room with a hope that she talk, tell them, but they may have her in the room by herself. So it's only her in them walls. And that ride to the jail, all of it is exhausting when you think about it,
Right. Thank you, Daddy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at that, it be cold as hell in the courtroom. I swear it feels like an ice box. I'm in there, like, every day I go to the court, I'm thinking, like, what jacket to bring just to have enough comfort of being some kind of warmth. Like, y'all, it really do be cold. But let's go. First witness they bring in, he's a forensic tech, and he basically said, he took 918 pictures to put into evidence, but he did not physically handle any evidence. So the defense just made a case like, okay, you took all these pictures, but you didn't handle it. Next witness is an officer from Georgia, and he was the one that arrested Rashad Murphy and his girlfriend at the time, who he basically said that Rashad did not comply, and he did try to run, but he was able to successfully arrest him, and they did hold Charmaine, but she was not arrested. I kind of see a little repetition in the defense when they're questioning these officers. It's like, well, was Alicia with him? Did Alicia run? Was it Alicia's phone? you know, like, was Alicia there? And basically, you know, Alicia was not with Rashad at the time of his arrest. The state brings in the lead investigator, and his job is to obtain cell phone records and video footage. He was able to obtain video footage of the Silver Cruise and the Black. Well, they really didn't touch on the Black Impala, or unless I'm missing that, because a lot of footage has been chopped and screwed due to a witness being filmed that was not supposed to be filmed. So a lot of footage was removed. So I was watching this from a playback. But anyways, yeah, so he was able to spot the silver cruise
at the McDonald's.
This is on the west side of the business, and this is the beginning of the line to order through the drive-through.
Detective Klein, please tell us where this
basically pointed out that he was able to obtain footage of the Silver Cruise at the McDonald's. The McDonald's has over 20 plus cameras because I asked ChatGPT, and they were spotted there at 1:47 a.m. He also went to Truth 18th for his report, and he was able to obtain footage that was 22 hours fast. I didn't even understand that. I mean, I get 22 hours fast, but like watching footage in 22 hour fast, I didn't get that. And so for my Tampanians, they went to the McDonald's y'all by USF, by University Mall, by the WIC office. I mean, by the they went. Why were they over there? I just don't understand. Like, Cross Fletcher over there? Like, why that area? I just don't understand that. But yeah, I had to show y'all. I had to let y'all know that's the McDonald's that they went to. At this moment, as I'm watching the playback, I'm trying to see like who's all in the courtroom, because I've been going every day. So I've kind of been watching, you know, I'm scoping out the scene. And there has been some people sitting on the defense's side, all the way in the back, very quiet. And there's also two other individuals that have been showing up consistently that are sitting on Alicia's side. They just don't give me that they are related to Alicia. But then again, you guys, you know, blood don't make you family. And sometimes you just don't look like all your family. So who's to say, you know, Alicia don't have people in the building. Maybe those are her people. I just don't know. And I don't think, it's not really the time and place right now to be going up to everybody. I felt comfortable enough to go up to Fulio's mom. And that's that. Considering what their daughter is facing, you know, I would just assume they probably will show up. But maybe, you know, maybe the attorneys is just trying to keep it a safe space, a safe place. I mean, at this point, Jacksonville, y'all got the shit going on. I mean, it's Detective Angie comes through, and I'm gonna give her the best dress so far for everybody who has been on the stand. You know, she had on a red blazer, black hair. Her name is not Angie. That's just what I nicknamed her. Okay, and she was the one that she seized Rashad Murphy's phone. It's kind of like they went into a small recess, or maybe just like a debrief, because the state brought up Robert Howard. They wanted to bring him as a witness. And the state is like, you know, we want to bring in Robert Howard, but something about a recording with the defense. The defense is representing him, blah, blah, blah. The judge ends up scheduling the boy for Wednesday, I believe. So I'm gonna make sure I'm there on Wednesday. And then we proceed with the proceedings for the day, because it is a half day, and Detective Angie is still on the stand. And then this is where they talk about more of the evidence that she obtained. And she's like, you know, well, I took a picture of these two guys that basically, you know, matched the identification of the killers with the all black ensembles, and it was a screenshot with a Young and Ace music link that had been attached. And you know, they were like, why do you feel like this is substantial evidence? She was like, well, I heard that Young and Ace and Foolio had issues, so, you know, I felt like that was substantial evidence. And then they get into Rashad Murphy's Airbnb receipt that was booked from June 20. It was booked for June 22nd through June 24th, and it was called the Lagoon Oasis Airbnb. They booked that on, I guess, June 22nd at 8:11 a.m. So I guess in the phone records, she was able to see that Rashad and Gudaman had a few conversations, and the defense is basically like, well, where is Alicia Andrews in all of this? Was it her phone? In this part of the trial today, I saw that the defense team asked Judge Cisco for a sidebar, and she denied it. And I don't know what was up with that. I don't think I've ever seen that, but it's a lot of stuff I've been seeing in this courtroom. Like, for example, the holiday music that was played yesterday that blew me. Okay, so maybe she just run things differently. Also, they were talking about the lighting today. She was like, this is courtroom 1. So I wonder if courtroom 1 really means like this was the first courtroom established in this courthouse. I don't know, because y'all, it is like surrounded with a bunch of portrait pictures of judges from all the way back from, I'm going to find the oldest one for y'all. So then Detective Angie is dismissed, and also she was from Georgia. And then they start to discuss about more evidence that the state wants to bring in, which are text messages now from October 2020. And the defense is like really trying to stand strong with this is some bullshit ass evidence. It's irrelevant. It's stuff that's going on in the city, and they're really trying to sour our client's appearance. And the state is like, no, this is very important because it shows repetition that she has been talking about Julio for a good little minute, and it's always been in a negative way. And the judge was like, listen, state, this is a bunch of run-on sentences. This is a lot of grammatical errors. Y'all need to go back and look at this and slim it down, and then have the defense go back over it, even though they still object to it. Get it together, bring this to this, and we'll discuss it on Monday. And other than that, that was kind of where I left off my recap. Oh yeah, and Fulio's mom was there today. So that is everything that I can give you guys. Of course, you already know where to follow me for my long recaps at Street Elements Global Media on YouTube. Bye.
Like the opportunity to parse through, what we would.
Sure.
But also, Your Honor, based on the information that they introduced yesterday, the state has already established that she is knowledge. And it goes back to my point. What is the actual purpose of this outside of attempting to paint her in a particular manner? And I don't believe it's relevant. I understand the court's ruling, but outside of it already being established, it becomes cumulative. It becomes confusing. These are more names of people that are not involved in this particular incident. And additionally, Your Honor, it's prejudicial. It's significantly prejudicial. And I will also add this. If knowledge of the gangs, because the way the state is painting it is though she has some kind of specialized knowledge of these, these incidents and these people. I don't expect objections when we question their witnesses about how common this information is, right? When we question them about the comments on, social media, the things that people seem to be aware of, the people that make videos and appear to have intimate knowledge about what's going on. If knowledge is, if they're painting her to have some sort of specialized knowledge, then I would expect there to be any sort of objections or limiting to us establishing this is actually not specialized knowledge. This is information that anybody in proximity or with a phone could get access to because everyone is talking about it everywhere.
Okay, well, that sounds like your cross or closing argument, right?
Maybe both.
Okay, so you do need, I want you, state, to attempt to redact this, just to, like pertinent parts, like I can make out in here, for example, the conversation. Because there is an actual, start talking about Julio Foolio and 6 Block and ATK and who's involved and who's not involved. And so that kind of thing is going to be more relevant than a lot of this other stuff that's almost, to me, indecipherable.
Yes, Your Honor.
So anyway, so try and pare it down, run it by the defense, and then see if you guys, I know you don't agree to this coming in, but just take a look at their redactions. And if you are going to argue for further redactions, or if you want stuff left in for the rule of completeness, then let them know as well. So I'd rather have them start being conservative with their redactions and go from there, okay? Then.
And Your Honor, just to sort of add, again, there were 370,000 artifacts on this iCloud device. I don't know if, the court, I don't know if this is something we need to address now, but I don't want this to continue to be an issue where we're continuing, every time that Julio's name is mentioned, that it's gonna be admitted, because my client, was in a conversation about it.
Well, they've only, let me put it this way. So as far as the exhibits for the state's case in chief, they've identified 75C3 and 75C10. So that's what we're discussing. So I don't know if the defendant testifies, if there's going to be something else that they're going to want to use to impeach her. I have no idea, but we're just talking about state's case in chief.
Correct, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Right?
Okay, well, as far as I know, this is the only exhibits that they've produced to you that you're objecting to. It, not the only exhibits, but the two we're discussing. Okay, so then what is, so I'm going to overrule the objection to 75C3, but with the caveat, I want the state attempt to redact this to the truly pertinent portions of the message exchange.
And for the record, because I don't believe I said this, we also would object on the basis of hearsay.
Okay.
As it's related to the other person's statements, and based on what the state is saying, it appears as though they are attempting to elicit this for the truth of the matter, that she was aware of what was actually occurring and that what he's saying is actually true. So we object on that basis as well.
Well, I think they're attempting just to show what her knowledge is, not that any of this is factually accurate per se. It's certainly not grammatically accurate, I can tell you that. Okay, so 75C10, what am I looking at? Well, Mr. Howard, but without his counsel.
Excuse me, because his question is not only about this case, but his federal case or potential exposure on that. It's what was relayed to me. I was not there, Your Honor, so I can only relay what the witnesses provided to me this morning.
I can tell you what I did ask him. The first question I asked him was whether he was represented in this case, as a victim's rights attorney or anything like that. He said no. And then I asked him, are you represented in your federal case? He said yes. I asked him, are you represented in your state probation case? He said no. I did not ask him about his exposure. He then asked me, am I